Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It is Sat Chat time. My hair has a mind of its own today. Just have to disregard if it does anything weird. I have no control over it. No control. This has been a crazy fast week. I can't believe it's Friday already. I hope your week has been going fast too if you want it to. And I hope may your week go fast and your weekend go slow. That should just be a mantra. I have like such a long list on my phone of like different things that I want to talk about. It's because it's been so much. It's been such a busy week, but it's been so full of good stuff. So can't complain about that. That painting right there, the cocktails, that is up in Critique Club right now. That is using the new Neo Art crayons, my very fancy crayons. And I just finished up filming the review for that, so that should be up Monday. I'm going to reshuffle stuff because I am filmed a few weeks in advance, but I've had a lot of requests for that. And I want to get it out while the product is new. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people wondering about it, and not that people are waiting with bated breath or anything for my opinion, but I really like them and I'm kind of excited about them, and I've done a couple artworks. I did this painting here using the Botanica Collective Challenge, and this is how I like using them the most, just kind of really sketchy and loose, and I like seeing that grain of the paper. It's a lot of fun. I think I showed you the cyclamen last week, but it's on my Instagram. If you want to look, you can see that. Oh, and I posted this video for our March calendar, because it's March! And so paint your calendar, or in your sketchbook, or whatever. But anyway, we talk about Picasso and Cubism in that real-time painting tutorial. And then another real-time tutorial I have is these little fridge magnets, these little Easter fridge magnets, and or spring, whatever. But I thought that was just such a fun little idea, a great way to use acrylic paint markers because, you know, they got the little tips and it's mess-free, and it's a great project to do with kids. I just thought that would be kind of a fun little one to do for spring, and I just heard that daylight savings time is actually in like 2 weeks, so I'm psyched. It seems like once we turn the clocks ahead, it's great. It's great. I'm loving life. I've been waking. This week was weird in for a couple of reasons. I kept waking up early, and that's so frustrating because I'm not done sleeping yet. I wake up at like 4. It's like, no, I need like 2 more hours of sleep. If I wake up at 5 or later, it's like, well, I guess I could get up, you know? So I had a few early waking days, and I was like, oh no, I hope I'm not in a streak of this, because sometimes I get that like early waking insomnia. And but I did sleep. I slept well last night. I think I slept pretty well the night before. I don't know. I had 2 or 3 bad sleeps this week and a couple of good ones. So I don't know. I'm somebody that needs their sleep though, because it takes a lot to power my energy. I need sleep. I cannot skimp on the sleep. So let's see, what did we do this week? So Monday and Tuesday, actually took both days doing the little magnet canvas things. That took, for some reason, well, what happened was I had recorded the whole thing. It was Monday. I was so tired Monday. I didn't sleep well. Sunday night, and I was messing around with my camera settings, and I found this one called Expressive Color, and the stuff in the monitor looked great. What I should have done was done a test film, go upstairs, open up my computer, look at it, but I didn't. I decided to just roll with it, and I filmed all three little canvases and went upstairs to edit it, and it was so blown out. It was so like everything was way too bright and glary. And it was funny because a viewer had left a really handy tip on the flip through I did of the James Gurney book, and they said if you had a circular polarizing filter on your camera, it wouldn't get that glare. And I was kind of thinking that might be handy to have, especially when I'm painting with oils or oil sticks, or even like I was noticing with the colored pencils on that tutorial, like the reflection is, you don't even notice it too much until you tip it up and you see it. Wow, those colors are much more saturated and there's much more contrast, but when it's laying flat on the table, it's just getting washed out a bit. So, so I looked into that a little bit. I did order one. It's coming today. And I'm really excited to try that because I want to be doing some oil painting tutorials on my easel. Maybe not that easel, maybe a different easel, because I can only raise that one up so high because the ceilings are short in here. Because this is in the basement and it's got a tongue and groove ceiling, so it brings the ceiling down a little bit more as well. So I just can't, for that particular easel, if I want to raise it up higher, the mast hits the ceiling. So anyway, that's something that I'll be working into the fold here in the studio, and I'm excited about. And I squeaked in with that one before my my art supply, giving up art supply buying for Lent. I guess would that be an art supply, a filter for my camera? all my art supplies are business expenses because I use them on the YouTube channel and on my Teachable School and whatnot. But so yeah, so I was talking to my crafty friends the other day, and I was saying, you guys, I'm off the rails. I'm just gonna give up buying art supplies for Lent. I'm not even Catholic, I'm not religious, but I'm gonna give up buying art supplies. And my friend Cindy chimes in. She goes, you know, I am Catholic and I have a different take on Lent. And so my friend Tracy's like, really, Cindy? Let's hear it. And she goes, well, she has 1 year for Lent. Me and my friend Beth decided we would do a shot every week at Brewster's throughout Lent, and we nailed it. We nailed it. And then she goes, and then another year we decided to do the full martini list at the Muddy Rudder, and it took us longer than Lent. It took us almost a whole year to get through that whole list, but we had a martini every week and we nailed that one too. It was a struggle, but we did it. And I said, Cindy, I don't think Lent means what you think it means. But then again, I'm a heathen. I'm not religious, so it could be. I could be doing Lent wrong. I probably am doing Lent wrong. Most certainly. But I'm thinking I just need to get myself reset. And so the fun thing is when I do go on one of these kind of like, I'm not buying anything for a month or whatever, because I'll do those from time to time because I tend to be someone who's not the greatest at moderation. I tend to be all or nothing. It's like, I can't just browse and buy something now and again. It's like either I am in a buying, acquiring phase where I want to try all the things, and of course there was just the big trade show where like all new products are being released in Germany, and in a couple months there'll be the one in America, the NAMTech Creativation Show. So it's kind of like, I'm curious, I want to try all the things, but then I get overwhelmed, so it's like, I got no more things can come in, I need to do the things I have. So as soon as I kind of like turn off the spigot, then I find that I get really creative. I think because I'm not overwhelmed with thinking about things coming in, I'm thinking about the things I already have. And not to say that I'm a shopaholic, I'm definitely not. It tends to be just an art supply thing, and I'm more of a curiosity-aholic, I think, because I'm like, oh, I wonder what that does. I wonder if that's different than this. I wonder how this goes. I wonder how that goes. And that's kind of what pulls me into those rabbit holes. So, and I think it's like a mental switch. As soon as I said, okay, I'm done. I need a break. I'm done. And so this week, I mentioned taking 2 days to do my little canvas thing, so I had to refilm this whole thing. And I'm glad I did, because once you make a project once, then when you make it again, you know all the shortcuts, you know how to teach it in a much simpler fashion. So actually doing it once, then filming it is it's probably a better situation for me because those are easier to edit as well. Or I can do it like and speak through it. But anyway, so I thought that video came out pretty well. I think the project's really cute, really solid and fun. And a lot of people have acrylic markers because they're very popular right now. So I think it'll be one of those things a lot of people can do with what they have. So where was I? Oh, so after the 2 days of that, I was just like, oh, I was having a really hard time getting motivated. I hadn't been sleeping well. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go at the things that I bought during my last off the rails time. It wasn't even off the rails. I'm being hyperbolic, but I had bought beeswax and oh yeah, because it was probably around Black Friday. It was probably November, and then I needed to put on the brakes for like December and January, at least December, I don't know. So I had gone to Artists and Craftsman Supply to take that class with Shanna Rowe Jackson, Caution Artist at Play from YouTube, and I picked up some Damar crystals there, and I had ordered some white natural white beeswax from Amazon, and Angela had just given me she had like half a bottle of Mona Lisa odorless mineral spirits that she can use because she has asthma, and I was giving her a bunch of stuff. We were kind of basically swapping some supplies, and then I'm like, you know what, I've got all this stuff while it's fresh in my mind. I think I'm gonna do my experiment of making encaustic medium and also cold wax medium. And I had so much fun making oil sticks a couple months ago. I was like, oh, I want to do that. That's what I feel like doing. And I used to do a lot of stuff with wax back when I had my studio downtown, because we would do candle making, we would do batik, we would do a lot of stuff like that for art camp, and I would have crock pots just getting the wax melted, because you know, you don't want to leave it unsupervised, but it's a pretty safe way to melt wax. And then if we needed it hotter for like dipping candles or doing batik, then we could put it on in a double broiler and kind of heat it the rest of the way that way, but we'd keep like a good steady supply of warm wax that way. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna clean out the wax crock pot, which was in Jason's area. I knew right where it was because we had just done the whole revamp his studio for Valentine's Day. The royal we, me and my minion of one, myself. And I was noticing that up there, so I took that down, I cleaned it up, it was dusty, and I scraped out any leftover wax, because he will use it to melt beeswax and mineral oil to make the paste for conditioning cutting boards. That's a woodworking thing that he likes to do, is make cutting boards. And so I got it all cleaned out and I melt, and so now I know exactly how to do it, and I did film it while I was doing it. I have what's called the experiment cam in there, and if you watched my gel printing video yesterday, you would have seen footage from the experiment cam. It's my old camcorder, and it's always in a fixed mount above my big camera on my big table, and it's got a pause feature, so I can actually like turn it on when I'm doing something and then pause it when I'm not. Anyway, so I had the experiment cam going while I was making my my potions. Felt like an alchemist. So you melt the beeswax, and then I put the Damar crystals in it, which I've never used Damar crystals, so I didn't even know if it was going to work. I'm like, did I even get the right things? I don't even know. But I put it all in at once. I'm like, oh, that's not how to do it. You want to melt the wax first, then put the crystals in. So I made encaustic medium, and that's basically the wax and the resin, the Damar resin. And then I poured those into little molds, and then I melted more wax, more Damar resin, and then added, once that was all completely melted and dispersed, then I poured in the odorless mineral spirits, stirred that up, and then I ladled it into jars. Oh my gosh, I got it right there. Let me show you. Holy cow. It is so good. It is so perfect. And oh, no, no smell. It is awesome. It's like that perfect consistency, and I absolutely love it, and it works great. And I did a little test. I tried it out, made sure everything was great. This costs like pennies. This is like, I don't know, $14. This probably cost me, I don't know, probably $2 maybe? $2 to make? And so now I don't have to be stingy. I'm so friggin' stingy with this. I only use it for like waxing watercolor paintings or gouache paintings, like if I don't want to smear. Actually, I did use it with the Neo Arts as a blending medium, because that paper, that sand grain paper, does not like odorless mineral spirits, and I wanted to mix out the grainy mess I had on the surface there. But I'm so stingy with this, but now I don't have to be stingy. I can use it with my oil sticks, I can use it with my oil paint. And yeah, and I made a bunch of caustic medium. So excited for that. That was a lot of fun. How much time do we have left? Oh my gosh. Wow. We've only been like talking for 12 minutes. Doesn't it seem like I've been talking for a year and a half? So where were we? So yeah, so I did that. But while the crock pot was melting, I didn't want to leave it unattended, because even though it's pretty safe, it's still flammable stuff on a heat source. So I'm like, I'm gonna hang around here in the room of Horde, and because I'm so spleeny, I don't tend to work over there that much, because I've got this heated room here, this my filming room here, which I'm gonna film a tutorial, not a film tutorial, I'm gonna film a room tour in here, because I did rearrange stuff 2 weekends ago, and I want to kind of show how I set up my filming studio. It's different now. Not terribly different, but I asked if anybody wanted a tour, and they said yes, so I'm going to do that. And a tour is always good for the algorithm. Anyway, so while I was in there, I thought, well, I am going to do some gel printing. Might as well. I knew I was light on the yellows and the pinks, and I just wanted to do some experimenting. Plus, I found the deal of the century. This is before I was, you know, on the rails, observing Lent in my heathen ways. I decided that, okay, so deal of the century. I was, and this, I was completely innocent here. I was making my supply list for that gel printing video, and I like to link up to Blick, and I link up to Amazon, because Blick usually has the best price, but not always. So I would say check both places. You know, and to be completely transparent, I do earn more money if people shop through my Blick links, but if the price is cheaper on Amazon, I want people to buy it where it costs less. I want you to make the right choice for you, or you might just need one thing, and the shipping is going to be more at Blick if you're just buying one thing. So, you know, you can see the options that are there. Anyway, so, but also so you know, I'm not completely altruistic. I do make some of my living that way. But anyway, so I was on Amazon. I just searched gel printing plates, and there were pages, and there were so many different brands that were, usually it's Jelly Arts or Gel Press, and that's what I recommend because they're both really good. They both release the paint really well. Never had a problem with either of those brands. I did buy one from Stampendous once, and it was really thin, and my paper would stick to it. I still have it. But you know, I might use it as a palette or something, but I rarely use it because it's just not, it doesn't work as well as a Gel Press or Jelly Arts. But I saw, and I was tempted, and I gave in to temptation. It was a pack of 5 gel plates. They were 8 inches by 10 inches by 3/8 inch thick, so the same dimensions as like Gel Press or Jelly Arts. It was a pack of 5 for $21.99. So it was like 23 bucks with tax. And I'm like, I just, my curiosity, I'm like, I have got to see what this is all about. The reviews were mixed, to put it kindly. So I did not have high hopes, but I'm like, for 23 bucks, if these are great, 23 with tax, you know, so if these are good, then that's a huge savings option. This is great for like a teacher that wants to do this with their students. And if they're bad, well, I took one for the team, and you know, maybe I can do a comical video about it, who knows. But I'm like, I'm gonna give it a try. So they came in, and they looked and felt just like the Gel Press or Jelly Arts, maybe a little bit less flexible. So I was using them, and I could see, some of the reviews were saying the paper stuck really bad, or there was a lip around the edge. I didn't really notice a lip around the edge so much, but it did seem like one side might have been a little bit smoother than the other. So the first thing I did was printing on label paper, because I was thinking, oh, I have these full sheet sticker labels. I could do some gel printing on these sticker labels and then use them to cover my sketchbook covers before I sew my sketchbooks together. And I've got paper all torn down and folded and ready to go to make my spring summer 2025 plein air sketchbook, and I'm going with a larger size this time. And I thought, oh, that would be cool to gel print on these label sheets. I have a bunch left over. They're not great for stamping on because they kind of feather a bit, and I'll use them up, and that'll be a fun thing to do. And then the acrylic paint will give them kind of a nice coating. And so I decided to do kind of an elaborate print and let it dry. That it stuck to the plate. So I'm like, oh man, that's a bummer. So I cleaned it up. I did some gel printing where I didn't let the paper sit, and it was fine. And then I thought, well, maybe if I used a stronger paper. So I grabbed some oak tag and I let that dry on the plate, and I started to peel it up, and it almost all came out, except there were a couple little bits that tore. And I'm like, so I cleaned that off. And then I thought, I'm going to try one more thing. So I got another piece of oak tag, and I let it dry. And this time I used my heat tool to dry it. But I also made sure, I let it dry fully, but then to make sure it was fully dry, I used my heat tool. And then I actually kept heating it as I was pulling it off, like you would, you know how you can heat like a price sticker to pull it off of like a jar or something you buy? So I pulled off the paper while it was still warm, and it came off perfectly. So it's not the same material as what the Gel Press or Jelly Arts plates are. It said it was 100% silicone matte, but I'm not so sure, or pad, but I'm not so sure about that. And the Jelly Arts, I've heard those are mineral oil based, so I don't really know what they're made of. I don't know if they would take heat like silicone. I'm not sure, but I've been doing a bunch of experimenting. I came up with this really cool thing that I don't want to give away the ghost yet on what I did, but I did something pretty cool, and I cannot wait to do a video on that and share it. But I don't want to say any more here because I don't want to give it away. But yeah, I had some really productive experimentation this week over in the Move Forward, and I really missed working over there because having an island that you can get around all 4 sides, you have all your supplies, not all my supplies, but I have a ton of supplies in there. You just grab something, go. You think something, grab it, go. Where in here, I just have I have the everyday stuff. I've got, you know, pastels, watercolors, colored pencils. I don't have stamps in here. I don't have embossing folders. I don't have the weird stuff that I don't use every day. So, but I do have a lot of this stuff that I do use every day over there too. So it'll be really wonderful when I'm up in the addition, which will probably be about 2 years, when the girls are all out of college and they're like totally sailed off into adulthood. Fingers crossed. Not that I don't love them and love them being home, but I do want them to, like, you know, use their education and, you know, go forth into the world and, you know, do the things they want to do. Do the things that, you know, make use of that very, very expensive education we're paying for, you know? You want them to spring forth and be successful. So when that happens, then I will be taking over the addition, and it's a huge room. We built it when we built it because we had to tear down our old garage because we couldn't build on top of that garage. So we had to tear that down. We put in a new garage, and then the upstairs over the garage is going to be my studio. And we built it in with that in mind. So it's going to be perfect, and I'll have everything up there. If it doesn't go up there, it doesn't stay down here, because Jason will be able to take the other where the room before it is and use that, expand his workshop. And that will be great. In this room, I don't know what's going to happen to this. I was thinking it'd be a great workout room because it's got like a kind of a padded floor. It's got like that. It's not the foam. But it's like a rubber, like this rubbery material. So I thought this would be a great little room for that, or maybe even a guest bedroom, because we wouldn't really need guest bedrooms because the kids wouldn't be here. But he's thinking he'll dismantle this room when I'm moved upstairs and just make the basement back to an unfinished basement, which I don't know. We'll have to talk about that. But but that's quite a ways into the future. And I'm very grateful and thankful to have this space in the basement to run my business. But boy, windows, man, windows. There's so many windows. It's so bright. The lighting is great. We have like the recessed lightings, little circular LED recessed lightings up there. It's just ideal it'll be ideal for an art studio with cathedral ceilings. Don't have to worry about the mast on that easel up there. It'll be fine and then some. So but in the meantime, you know, you gotta make it work. And so I'll be doing my filming room tour, because this isn't a very big room. I think it's about 10 by 10, so probably about what people would have for like a spare bedroom, or maybe even a walk-in closet that they're using for their you know, for their arts and crafts and whatnot. So last weekend was really fun. Not only did this week fly by, last weekend was way too short. So Saturday, my daughter Lila, her boyfriend is in a band, and he had a show, and it was actually at our old college. Jason and I went to the same college, but he went before I was there. We didn't go to school together, but that's where the concert was going to be, in the student center of our old college. This, like, and it was not there when we were at school. It is so much bigger and more modern now, the whole complex. It was so small when we went there. But so we went in there, we found the place, and they've got like this nightclub there basically for the kids, and the show was great. We got there and we're hearing, like, we're walking up and we're hearing these 90s tunes being cranked by the band that was playing. First it was like 4 bands that played, and I'm like, oh, this might not be too bad, because I was thinking, what kind of music is this going to be? You know, and I'm hearing Red Hot Chili Peppers and Nirvana and all kinds of good tunes. I'm like, all right, this is all right. And then I get in there like, oh, it's so loud. It's so loud. I'm not used to this. I should have brought earplugs. I was not ready for this. So before Lila's boyfriend's band got up there, we decided we'd wander around, and surprisingly there's no security in the building. We're just wandering around. I'm like, I cannot believe we're just roaming freely in this building. So we were checking out like the old auditorium where we used to have our intro to broadcasting class. We were checking out where the radio station used to be. The radio station is not in the same building, because they have the broadcasting school has their own building now. We used to use the classrooms and the radio station from Husson, and now they have their whole building to themselves with all of their classes, I assume, in the radio station and production rooms and whatnot. And like our TV classes were in the gym, like next to the pool, basically. So it was really a ramshackle operation when we went there. And so it was cool to check it, to look around. It was very nostalgic. And listening to the 90s music was very nostalgic, because I was there in the 90s. And then the next day, Lila's boyfriend's band was awesome. They did so well. There was, I mean, I might be biased, but they were the best band. Oh my gosh. And then the next day we went to have lunch with my college friends, and the visit was way too short. Oh my gosh. We showed up this one restaurant, and because we checked out the menu looked great, and then they're doing like brunch all day, and like it didn't have anything from the menu, so we decided to go to this other place, which I could have sworn we all went to before. And I was like, let's go to Silver Street Tavern, and they're like, okay, let's go. And I'm thinking, we've been here before, and everyone's like, we've never been here before. I'm like, yes, we were here last August. And they're like, no, we were not. I'm like, we were here just in the basement. They're like, no, that was a totally different restaurant. But anyway, we had a great time, and it was nice to see everyone, but I totally felt like it wasn't a long enough visit, and it was just kind of like small talk and quite like surface skimming, just because it had been so long since we'd seen each other, and the visit was just too short. So we'll have to rectify that, because I just did not feel like it was enough. You know, you go so long between seeing your friends, it was just not enough. And then what else? Oh my gosh, so somebody asked me if I was going to comment on the fact that Joann's Fabrics is closing. And there's a channel called Sewing Report who has really documented the whole Joann saga, so I'm not going to go into it, but it is too bad. I remember going to Joann. Joann's is like, has been around my whole awareness of craft stores. Joann's has been around, and when I didn't really start going to Joann's until I had my son, and that was 22 years ago, and I started scrapbooking, and then I would kind of just go and get away for a couple hours by myself and just wander the aisles, and that was a lot of fun. But I found over the years their selection had gotten worse, and the store kind of seemed to get into a little bit of a disarray, and I kind of stopped going. So, I mean, I guess I'm part of the problem, but they were bought up by private equity. That seems to be the tale of woe for all these businesses that go under. And it's a shame. It's a shame because, you know, I think if a craft store decided to be a craft store, an art store, and just sell art and craft supplies and not sell furniture and home decor and Christmas decorations and a bunch of other, you know, seasonal stuff, they actually could do quite well. But you probably can't have 3 in a city. It's probably going to be one, and they've just got to go, you know, whole hog, and I have not seen a store that does that. We have a couple craft stores, and that's it, and they're big box chains, and honestly, they're nothing to write home about. And unless it's like a dire situation, which in case they probably don't have what I need, it's just too bad. I think they cater more towards beginners because beginners spend more and like kits and whatnot, and it's just too bad. It's just too bad. So that's what I have to say about Joann's closing. I'm sad. It's a shame. I go to Martin's for my fabric, so I don't think I'll be like at a loss for fabric. And I always thought that they were kind of high, and I'm surprised. I heard stories on threads on like people fighting over yarn. It's like the sale isn't even as good as what their prices used to be. So, because it's like 20% off. They would have 40% off sales all the time. And they had the best coupons as far as the chain stores going. They were the last ones to keep the coupons going after the other ones had kind of given up on it. So that's too bad. So I guess the coupons weren't keeping the businesses in the red, like, or in the black. Whatever the good one is, wasn't keeping them in the black like we thought they were. And yeah, what else is going on? Oh my gosh, Golden paint. A couple things about Golden. They just released 53 new colors of pan pastels, and they were up at Blick, and they were coupon eligible, and so I was so excited because I had a 15% off coupon I got from taking a survey. So I'm like, so I shared that, and I just told people that they're up, do with that information what you will. And then like 2 days later, the coupon, they've made them not in the sale category, but they didn't put them on sale. So it's like they were at Blick not in the sale category, but you know, a little bit less than retail, like you have to be, and you could use a coupon on it. And now it's in a sale category for the exact same price it was 3 days ago, and you can't use a coupon on it. It's like, Blick, I don't think you know what the word sale means. It's like, Cindy, I don't think you know what the word Lent means. It's like, what is going on? So that kind of ticked me off about Golden. And then Golden got roasted on Instagram for sharing an AI generated photo when they were talking about artists working for exposure, and the internet was not kind to that. You can go check that out if they haven't taken it down by now. But anyway, that's all I have for today. My camera's got to shut off. So thanks for watching. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye!